I'm sorry. I don't mean to burst anybody's bubble here. Hey everybody, welcome to Shopping with Shana. So it is time for another coupon chat. It's actually been quite a while since I've done one. I kind of wanted to make it into a bit of a series here, but I got a little bit of surgery up here for some skin cancer that I had, and so it's taken me a while to want to be back on camera, and even then I'm not super happy. But guys, I want to tell you about what is happening, something that has been kind of going on with me. As you can see, my channel has been doing really, really well over the last few years. We have hit 10,000 at the end of last year. We're moving closer and closer to 12,000 subscribers. And of course, when you become bigger, you start getting people coming to you asking you to advertise for them. And so far, I've actually not advertised for anybody, which is probably unheard of, and I probably should start looking into it. I'm just seriously relying on the AdSense that I make for ads that play from Google in my YouTube videos. But I did get one that seemed super tempting, and it was something that I had already ordered for. So TEMU, TEMU, this is I've seen the ads before on Facebook and on, Instagram and things like that. And of course, I have made two purchases from them. So I'm going to be full disclosure here. I have made purchases. They have tempted me into them. There were actually three shirts that I bought one time, and actually only one shirt I even like. The other two shirts were so low quality and see-through that I don't even wear them. The one shirt I did like, and I've worn it several times to teach in and things like that. I've also purchased three swimsuits. I purchased one time with my shirts, didn't like it, didn't like the fit. So then I went back and bought two more because they are very, very cheap. And I've gotten them. I have worn one of them to swim in. They're not my favorite. If I had tried them on in a store, I would have never purchased them. But they were cheap. They were only a couple bucks, which is why I went with them. However, they have offered me some sort of affiliate position to advertise for them. And in fact, you may have noticed a lot of our couponing influencers, I don't know if you call it influencer, couponing people that are similar to me are promoting TEMU, and they're getting a ton of products, probably getting them for free, and then advertising them to you as they show them on their videos. And then they ask you to use the referral codes and they get paid as well. So that is happening out there. And this is not to throw any shade at anybody that's doing this, but it's not going to be for me. And I wanted to let you know why and let you make an informed decision on why or why not you should purchase from TEMU or even like another company called SHEIN. All right. So, I've been getting lots of DMs asking me from TEMU to use their products and to show it on my Instagram and show it on, obviously here on YouTube, and to promote their products. So I decided to do some digging into the company and see what was going on, because it did almost seem too good to be true when I made my purchases. And then when I got them, I was like, yeah, they're not high quality. But that's not my only issue with all of this. My other issue is some things that I had found out about them that is just making me go, no way. So I'm going to show those to you. Let's go through an article and kind of discuss all these things that are going on. I've actually watched several different videos, YouTube videos on this, as well as, read some articles about the, TEMU and SHEIN, I think is how you say it. I'm sure those are products that you've heard about, or, companies. Now, these companies are China-based companies. They are selling super cheap products that are questionable about how they are that cheap. If it's too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. However, let me go through this article here, an Alliance for American Manufacturing article about why you should be leery of shopping app TEMU, or obviously just, I don't even have the shopping app. I only have the, I just ordered online. But yeah, to be leery of that is the best way I want to describe it. So, So what it says is it's owned by PDD Holdings, an online company in China. TEMU offers customers unbelievable deals and a whole lot of risks. There were many memorable commercials during the Super Bowl this year, from a Breaking Bad reunion to Eminem's Culture War spoof on multiple cameo appearances from celebrities. But it was one of the less flashy big game ads that caught the eye here at the Alliance for American Manufacturing. So this again is talking about the TEMU here. This one came from a newcomer to the Super Bowl ad game, Temu. This shopping app is among the hottest in America right now, offering users lightning sale bargains on everything from clothing and beauty products to tools and kitchen gear to electronics and toys. The app's products offerings mirror Walmart or Target, and there's a lot of stuff there, and it's super cheap. Now, I'm also going to be honest with you, I've only purchased clothing from Temu, so I have not purchased any other items from them. Um, if it seems like Temu came out of nowhere, well, it kind of did. Owned by Chinese conglomerate PPD Holdings, formerly known as Pinduoduo, I think is what it says. I could be wrong. Temu quietly launched in the United States in September, aiming to follow the direct-to-consumer business model perfected by another Chinese company, Shein. And I believe I'm saying that right. I always wanted to call it Shine, but I believe it's Shein from what I've research I have done on this. Like Shein, Temu cuts out the middleman by selling products straight from the manufacturers in China and shipping them directly to the consumers. And these products are cheap. When I took a quick peruse of the retailer's website on Tuesday afternoon, Temu was offering a stainless steel handheld mixer for $1.89, a pair of rhinestone earrings for $1.88, and 5 pieces of grinding tools for $2.88. A 5-piece grinding tool, I should say. But Temu is also just giving stuff away, offering credit to consumers who convince others to sign up to use the site via social media. So again, this is where the influencer side comes. This is what I'm being offered as somebody that has a following on YouTube, is to put my name out there and stamp it to this product. And I just do not feel comfortable now. Thus far, Temu's business plan seems to be working. As of February 12th, it tops the list of fashion apps according to rankings by SimilarWeb, beating out Shein and retail giants like Walmart and Amazon. But there are major concerns about Temu's business model and plenty of reasons for consumers to stay away from the app, no matter how great those bargains are. Cheap ain't cheap. Now, we've spent a lot of time examining the bad behavior of Shein, the popular fast fashion retailer that earned its popularity thanks to another Chinese app, TikTok. There are many reasons that Shein is so problematic, from the fact that its products are likely made with forced labor, and it is going to go further into the forced labor aspect for you here, to its lying about its business practices. To the impact on the environment and the theft on intellectual property. So, like I said, it'll go into the forced labor a little bit more. But I actually watched another video today where they were saying the factory workers inside, at least Shein, maybe not Temu, but probably the same practices, are only paid about roughly $500, maybe a little bit more than that, to $600 a month, an entire month, and they're forced to work 75-hour plus, you know, a week. So that's a lot. Think about it. That's almost double what we consider full time, is 40 hours a week, 75 hours, maybe more than that a week. And if they do happen to mess up on a product, it is taken out of their paycheck. The other thing I also noticed, and it may talk about it later, is the impact on the environment, is the fact that because these products are quite cheap and they aren't lasting that long, that they are being thrown away. And of course, they're just going into landfills. And of course, theft of intellectual property, they are just, making their own version of whatever's popular and selling it for super cheap. And they're not obviously paying for that as well. Now, they did a whole episode of the manufacturing report talking about Shein, not Temu, and you can listen here. I am going to link this article in the description box below for you, so that way you can click on that link, and if you want to go listen to more about this Shein or about these products, you definitely can. Now, Temu hasn't been examined as closely as Shein, most likely because it's very new to the game, but many of the same worries we have about Shein also apply to Temu, and the same sort of policy needs to take on Shein's bad practices would likely apply to Temu as well. Now, that makes me think, and the reason why I think this, the one shirt that I actually do like and I wear or I have been wearing regularly, um, to teach in and things like that, I noticed someone at church was also wearing that shirt. And I was like, oh, I like your shirt. I have the same one. And she said, I got it at Shein. And I was like, oh. And I said, I got mine at Temu. So we actually got the same exact shirt at two different. So it makes me feel like they're interconnected here. This might be actually a way to change the branding almost, instead of Shein, who is under a lot of scrutiny for the way they treat people and the things that they do. They just change up the name so that people will purchase from them thinking that they're not buying from that company and it is connected. Um, let's see. For one, there's growing evidence that any piece of clothing made in China is likely to be connected to forced labor. In this region, I want to say it's Xinjiang region. I'm not sure, so I'm just going to call it the X region. So please help me out here. Where the Chinese Communist Party's genocide of the Uyghur people continues. Hundreds of thousands of Uyghurs have been forced to work in X cotton's fields, and the cotton finds its way into clothing across the world. It's fair to say that the garment made in China likely contains cotton produced by this forced labor, and the cotton finds its way into products produced in other nations too. Okay. And again, it's not lost on me that we're probably still, when we go to Walmart and buying a t-shirt, that we're probably buying something with forced labor involved in it. I get it. But I feel like a company that big is at least trying to do a better job, or is under more scrutiny to not allow that to happen. Okay. However, I'm not oblivious to the fact that this probably happens in tons of companies that we're just not aware of. Now, knowing this, there is a strong likelihood that the clothing sold by Temu, which is manufactured in China, is indeed made via forced labor. But at least some of the retailers' other product offerings also could be made with forced labor too. The Department of Labor keeps a running list of goods made with child labor or forced labor, and there's a whole lot of made in China items that are included. United States has tried to stop products from X from reaching U.S. shores. The Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act, which went into effect in June of 2022, which is kind of crazy. It's only been around for a year. I feel like that's probably something that needed to be around for a lot longer. It bans anything made in X from entering the U.S. unless importers can prove their goods were not made with forced labor. U.S. Customs and Border Protection is now enforcing the law, reporting that in January 2023 alone, 282 shipments valued at more than $69 million were held for further examination based on the suspected use of forced labor. Okay, so as you can see, although it's probably not completely escaping us in America, it's there. The effort is there to stop it. But here is the dig. But the direct-to-consumer business model allows companies like Temu and Shein to dodge these inspections. Since goods are sent as individual packages, they are harder to track. And so here's their way around it all. They're sending them directly to the consumers. And so we're getting these cheap products with forced labor or cheap labor, and they're not paying any consequences for their actions here. It gets worse. The companies don't even have to pay tariffs on their goods, as they take advantage of the loophole originally intended to allow tourists returning from trips overseas to not deal with tariffs for souvenirs. It's called the Minimus. I think that's right. I am a music teacher. I am not an English teacher or anything like that. So forgive me. So the rule states that shipments under 800 aren't charged import taxes. So they're getting around even more, things that they would have to pay. Since Temu and Shein are sending consumer packages that technically are under 800, they don't have to pay the tax. But of course, that's not what's really happening. Shein captured around 30% of the fast fashion market in the US in 2021, according to the Wall Street Journal. It seems like it's time for the lawmakers to actually close this loophole. So very interesting here. Scooting on down to the next section. All consumers care about human rights violations or loopholes in trade enforcement laws. There are bargains to be had after all. And let's just say, I like me a bargain. This is a hard pill to swallow. And when you want to just have good deals all the time, you may, be tempted. I was tempted. Guys, I literally have made 3 purchases from these companies. I bought 1 from Shein and 2 from Temu. So they have lured me in, but I'm not buying anymore. All right, but even then, Americans should be leery of using Temu, Shein, and other Chinese direct-to-consumer apps. There already have been complaints about the quality of Temu's products, with Time reporting that there have been 30 official complaints lodged with the Better Business Bureau, and the company had a BBB consumer rating of less than 1.5 stars. Here's more from Time, so we're going to read a little segment from them. Temu currently has a C rating on the BBB and an average customer rating of 1.4 stars out of 5, albeit from only 20 reviews. Complaints are separate from reviews, which do not factor into BBB's official ratings. McGovern at the BBB says it unusual for such a new company to receive so many complaints in such a short amount of time. She notes that Temu has acknowledged and responded to every complaint posted to the BBB website, but many of those complaints remain unresolved. Temu's sister company, Pinduoduo, I think, has long been accused of hosting sales of counterfeits, illegal goods, or products that do not match their descriptions. Pinduoduo wrote in its SEC filings that it immediately removes unauthorized products or misleading information on its platform and freezes the accounts of sellers on the site who violate its policies. Consumers looking to get their products, and we've moved out of the time, I should say that, are likely to run into hurdles. Wired reports that because Temu is sending products directly from China, it is going to take them 7 to 15 days to arrive, longer than rivals like Amazon can offer. Time, meanwhile, talked to several Temu customers whose orders arrived late. So yeah, I mean, that is a thing. Amazon will never go away from this because a lot of times we need our products right away. And so we're willing to pay a few more dollars in order to get them. But, if you're ordering something you don't really care when it gets there, you can wait. All right, time to level the playing field. So Temu is selling a lot of customer target goods that for 2 decades have been made in China and sold to Americans at cheap prices. The difference is that those items used to be sold by companies like Walmart and Target. Now Temu, Shein, and others are coming after those third-party retailers. Douglas Schmidt, a professor at Vanderbilt University, told Time that if Temu catches on in the United States and is able to rival Amazon and others for significant market share, it could lead those retailers to drop their prices to compete. This race to the bottom could hurt American manufacturing, Schmidt argued. Yeah, but they're never going to go as low as Temu. I wouldn't think as low, like, maybe instead of getting your shirt for $3, you would get it for, $7 or something like that, because they shouldn't be doing forced labor. I don't think that they could do that here in America, at least get away with it for very long. I could be wrong. I probably am wrong. All right, so this is an interesting example of manufacturing base in China getting sufficiently sophisticated that it no longer feels like it needs to go through distributors. They're selling directly to consumers, and there are a lot of people who are hurting economically and looking for a bargain, he told Time. This is obviously going to put pressure on producers of goods to further slash their cost-based basis and profit structure, which could have the consequences of further eroding domestic manufacturing in the U.S. Okay. Um, Honestly, though, guys, the economy is terrible. Like, prices are up everywhere. Everything has gone up in the last 6 months, to a year. So, yes, people are looking to cover what they need with cheap products. And if Temu and Shein are offering it, they may just look past the fact that it's forced labor somewhere else that they'll never see. They're going to, purchase what they want to, what they need for a price that they're willing to pay. American manufacturers always have been at a disadvantage against imports from China. U.S. companies and workers abide by U.S. labor and environmental laws. After all, it's impossible to play fair when your competitor is using forced labor to make its stuff. But Temu and Shein are enjoying additional unfair advantages with the direct-to-consumer model. By not paying a tariff, their products are essentially given a cost break to enter the United States. Even big box retailers like Walmart have to pay a tariff to import their products. And really, many of those products shouldn't be entering the United States at all, given the likelihood that they were also made with forced labor. It's time for policymakers and other officials to crack down on this direct-to-consumer model deployed by Temu, Shein, and other Chinese brands. That effort should start by closing the Minimus loophole and extending enforcement of the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act to these imports whenever possible. All right, guys. One other thing that I did hear from another video I watched this morning was that a lot of the clothes actually kind of have lead in them. I don't know that to be true, but I did hear that on another video. So, and it didn't say anything about that in this particular article here. So I'm not sure. I don't want to claim anything because it's just, stuff that I heard. But let me know what your thoughts are about Temu and about Shein and, have you purchased from them? Do you plan to purchase from them? Do you plan to never purchase from them or never again purchase from them? After kind of looking this all over, also knowing that I have purchased from them and the quality is just not that great, it's not worth it to me. It's not worth the forced labor if it is happening, which it probably is. It's not worth, getting around the tariff laws and things like that for me particularly. And the products or the clothing products that I've purchased have just not been good. I'm better off going to Walmart, which is, again, maybe forced labor. I don't know. And waiting for it to go down super cheap to like clearance prices. So yeah, that's just my thought on this. What are your thoughts? There's no right or wrong on this. It's just something that I have chosen personally to not participate in anymore. I know there's lots of YouTubers out there and, influencers, Instagram, things like that, where they do a lot with Temu and a lot with Shein and maybe other Chinese companies. And, I hope that they just don't realize what's going on, but that may not be the case. But again, no shade towards those other people. You got to do what you think is right. This is what I think is right. Let me know what you think in the comments below, but be respectful and no being hateful to anybody. All right. Bye, guys.